was this brought to your attention? And two-part question. And what did you think of it when you first read the script?
Well, it was a little bit more involved in that, in the sense that I produced the short film Alive in Joburg in 2005 for Neil. So it wasn't like I suddenly got this weird script. I mean, I knew about the project since it was kind of the seed of the idea in Neil's mind, and then he was kind of working on a kind of mockumentary feature for it, and then got distracted by Halo. I call it a distraction because I was really passionate about the Live in Joburg stuff, obviously, and Halo's awesome. Obviously, it was amazing for him. But then, bizarrely, that fell through, and so then the opportunity for him to do the movie came up, and I was super excited. I'd already shot a character test for him just as part of his development several months before I read the final kind of treatment. It wasn't really a script as such. I don't know if you know, but like I improvised all my dialogue, and it was a very loose structure. So, but there was a very clear kind of storyline and treatment. It was just amazing when I actually read the final thing. I'm very excited to get involved.
Wow. Well, let's backtrack for a second, because I didn't know that you had produced the short.
Yes.
So, what was that all about? Like, what was the impetus for that, and what made you guys say, "Hey, let's put this short together"? And it was so intriguing. I did see it.
Yeah, Neil had this idea of kind of combining high-end 3D with really rough-looking footage, either corporate shot stuff, just shot badly, or loose kind of camera work. And he'd been playing with that for a long time, since way before Alive in Joburg, actually, and all long before the Cloverfield stuff and all of that. It was kind of a creative, artistic thing that he was playing with, and so and then the kind of seed for Alive in Joburg was this thing that Neil had of what if the creatures were living in the kind of townships, just the aesthetic of that. How would that look? How would that feel? And then the story came, later on, what the actual movie would be. But I think, it was more from anything that I discussed with him. It was more just the idea of making a really unusual piece that particularly first world countries would not be used to seeing. Kind of that slum environment got his attention in the beginning.
And that was all about just getting it out there to mass audiences via the web, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Neil made that piece very much just for himself as a creative artist, and I got involved with that also from the point of view of I really resonated with the piece. There's a lot of kind of emotion and stuff of having grown up in South Africa and moving through the transformations into democracy and things that we've been able to do, and the challenges that went with that as well. That there's just emotion there, and it was a cool piece to be able to kind of let some of that out in a way,
So let's get into your character. You play Wikus,
yes,
correct? Tell me tell our viewers a little bit about him.
Wikus is he's a very bureaucratic guy who is in over his head, most of the time, but likes to act like he isn't. So he thinks he's cool, but he's not, kind of guy. And gets a big promotion, at the start of the movie to now head the team that's going to go and be evicting these creatures. And he's a fascinating character for me in the sense that he has a lot of kind of insecurity that he's hiding and doesn't really sort of know in the beginning of the film, but what he goes through during the film is basically a stripping away of the insecurity, the facing of his fears, kind of his whole support structure, everything that he kind of knew and loved kind of falling away. So it was a very exciting character and kind of deep almost experience for me to play that and go through that as a character, the emotions that he goes through.
And he really does go through a lot. I mean, not only emotionally, physical transformations as well. He goes from kind of a meek individual to to a hero essentially at the end. Let's talk about some of the physical elements. I mean, a lot of action.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I really thought in the beginning that it was it was mostly a comedy that I was signing on to. I somehow, for some reason, I just didn't quite. I mean, I knew it was Neil and I knew he was going to do some action stuff, but it was like I didn't realize how intense some of the action was going to go to. And so that surprised me, and it was I was quite blasé because I'm normally a behind the scenes guy. So I was like, actors have it easy. They get everything brought to them. It's like, I wasn't particularly sympathetic to actors, I would say. I mean, I was reasonably so, but playing a lead in a film like this, you realize it's a job, man, and it's physically, mentally, the amount of kind of emotion that you're having to hit out every time, especially when it's a heavy emotional scene, you know, and you're doing it, you know, 10 times, 15 times if you got to. The physical stuff was very intense. I mean, I had stunt guys, dude. I had like stunt coordinators. The stunt guy came up to me and he's like, listen, these are stunt guys, like, and it looks bad if in a scene it doesn't look real. So you can hit. I mean, you can hit him. It's okay if you punch them. Like they're used to that. Like if you know, as you're struggling, you know, just go for it. And I'm like, dude, I'm not. He's like 6'9", and I'm not gonna hit him. And the guy's like, no, seriously, hit. And it was incredible, man. I would like one of the scenes where they putting me in the bag, you know, was like this massive fight. You don't see too much of it in the film in the end because it's cut very fast, but it was a monster fight that I had with these guys, and they kept coming back to me. And the stunt guy's like, no, you can kick harder, you know. So like the last take, dude, I just like went all out because they kept all pushing me to do it, you know. And really kicked the guy in the chest, like just with everything I had, you know. And they came, and he was like winded afterwards and whatever, but he's coming and he's like, that was awesome. That was it. That was great. That's what we need out of actors. I was like, you guys are crazy, man. You guys are nuts. Yeah. And they are, like, stunt guys are just crazy.